Well, Specialized has just launched the all-new Crux, highly anticipated. And as usual with new bike launches, they're accompanied by a lot of controversy and basically a divided market. 33% of the people think Specialized went too far. 33% of the people think Specialized didn't go far enough. And the other 34% said they got it just right. But like I said, controversies and new bike launches go together like batia and chimba. If you know, you know. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about my video about cycling innovations and how I feel about the unnecessary innovation in certain areas. One of them being how I feel about super aero bikes being like, I don't think that they're really necessary. So I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna double down on that video that I did, a small segment. I'm gonna give some real world examples, and I'm gonna make a passionate case for why I personally don't find ultra aero bikes necessary. Your results may vary. All right, let's go. In one of my more recent videos, I talk about cycling trends that I'm either embracing, avoiding altogether, or a little bit cautious about. And one of the things that garnered a good amount of discussion was what I said about ultra aerodynamic bikes. And I got to emphasize that I'm not talking about aero in the sport for performance and gains. I'm talking about the extreme ultra aerodynamic bikes like the Factor 1, Colnago Y1 RS, and I believe even Ridley has one. And I'm comparing those bikes to what we'd call like all-around bikes, like let's say the Tarmac SL8, even my Basso Diamante, because I believe that when either a manufacturer or a third party does a test and they say that there is a certain amount of savings in watts over a certain distance, and those numbers are largely based on either what happens in a wind tunnel, which is a sterile environment, I know that they can do different things, or it's based on computer simulations. What I experience in the real world is a little bit different. I experience not only variations in the wind in terms of intensity, direction, the density of the air, the road surface. A cyclist may be going by me. I may be drafting 1 minute. The next minute I may be out in the front, or big group, small group. A car could go by me. A wall could block the wind. All of those things affect what I feel out in the real world. So when I take that into consideration and I think about, like I said, my Basso Diamante versus something extreme like the Factor 1, I think that the impact is a lot less. What I think that ends up happening with us is we have a tendency to buy based on our emotions, and we're very good about defending with logic. So here's the thing, I love bikes, I love tech, I love innovation, but I don't ride an ultra aero bike, and I really don't think one is necessary. And based on what I'm getting ready to share in this video, I doubt that any manufacturer is going to say, here, Louis, test our bike. Have fun with it for a little bit and tell us what you think. That's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share footages and my thoughts on two different rides that I did. One of them was with a small group of maybe about 8 cyclists. We're mostly riding in a single file, swapping turns. And the other one was like a typical ride that I do, where it was a big group ride, and I'm trying to figure out how to match the pace of the group, save energy, all that kind of stuff. So they're like polar opposite types of rides, and I'm going to tell you the sensations and what I thought was going on aerodynamically for me on both of those rides. Let's start with this ride. Big group, fast pace, lots of wheels to sit on. This is a kind of ride where people think aero bikes shine, but the truth is the opposite. When you're in a group this size, the draft is doing so much of the work for you. You're saving 20 to 40% of your energy just by being in the right spot. That's more than any frame shape or deep wheel is giving you. In this environment, I found that the real upgrade is not your bike, it's your skill set. It's how well you hold the wheel, how smooth you are in the group moving around, anticipating the gaps that may be created by other cyclists, and efficiently using the right amount of energy to move into them. It's how smooth and relaxed you're able to stay, how well you anticipate what's getting ready to take place next. That's where the real speed comes from. It's not from an ultra modern aero road bike. Look at this scenario. I'm not really in the wind and I'm barely working. This is why I don't obsess over aeroframes, because on rides like this, the group is the aero. Hola, today we're doing something a little bit different. It's Wednesday, and rather than riding with the Team Recovery huge 100+ cyclist ride, I'm going to be riding with Team Galiz. They do a Wednesday evening ride, similar route, smaller group, usually 10 to 12, maybe even less. They run a single pace line and they keep it inside of Weston on the bike lanes, which is kind of cool. I believe they rotate. So as I stated, different scenarios, small group, single file, and I'm actually going to be spending time on the front. Now this is where people say, see, this is why you need an aero bike. And yes, when you're exposed to the wind, aero matters more. But here's the part nobody talks about. Your body composition is still 80 to 90% of your drag. If I'm not in a good tuck, if my elbows are out, if I'm sitting too upright, no bike, I don't care how aero it is saving me. Thank you. And realistically, I don't race. I'm not doing a 45-minute breakaway. I'm not pulling the group along at 30 miles an hour for half of the ride. I'll be involved in a rotation. I'll take my turn at the front and I get back into the rotation and we'll repeat the same cycle. So yeah, aero matters, but not enough for me to deal with the costs, the aesthetic unpleasantness that I perceive from Ultra Modern Aero Road bikes, and also the perceived handling challenges. The same issues that you deal with ultra deep carbon wheels is the same type of issue you're going to deal with those ultra wide tubes when you're dealing with crosswinds. They present a potential hazard when it comes to overreactivity of the bike that a cyclist needs to anticipate. For me, it's not worth it. And even if I was in those situations where I was racing, I don't think I would want an ultra modern aero road bike. I'd be fine enough with a modern enough road bike, an all-arounder, let's just say. Here's the thing. Most riders aren't racing crits every weekend. Most riders aren't doing solo time trials. Most riders aren't living on the front of a pace line. Most riders are doing exactly what you're seeing here. Group rides, social rides, rotating pulls, just enjoying the experience. And in that world, the biggest aero advantage you'll ever get is other people. So for me, I'd rather ride something comfortable, something responsive, something that fits the way I actually ride, not the way marketing tells me I should ride. And man, marketing and cycling, boy, that stuff changes every day. This bit of road we're on is A1A, and A1A is notorious for being a little bit of a wind tunnel, except that it's usually a wind tunnel that's blowing in from the side. So I'll take the opportunity to touch on something that I mentioned briefly, and that's ultra aero bikes and crosswinds. Just like deep section wheels, ultra aero frames can act like a little bit of a sail. Those big tube profiles, the deep head tube, the wide down tube, the massive seat tube, they're designed to slice through clean air. But when the wind hits you from the side, those same shapes can act like they're playing on a different team. Are they dangerous? I think that dangerous is a little bit too strong a word. I think that for certain riders in certain situations, I think that an overabundance of caution and preparedness needs to be exercised. For example, if you're a smaller rider and you're on an ultra aero bike and you're in a ride where there's a lot of gusty crosswinds, you need to be aware that that thing can not only like cause you to be blown to the side, it can make you lose control of your bike or even knock you off of your bike. We recently had a friend that got clean knocked off of her bike. She does have an aero bike, and a crosswind unexpectedly came and just caused her to lose control, and she was in a group ride. Now, that poses a hazard not only to her, but to the other riders who are on a group. Is that dangerous? You make a call on that. I don't think that the potential benefits that you can get for an ultra aero bike is worth what it's going to cause me to have to think about in terms of the handling of the bike in certain situations. That piece of road that I shared right at the end of the video, A1A, I've been on A1A where I've had to like really get down in the drops and pay very close attention to what's going on with the bike because of gusts of winds. And inevitably on one of those rides, we'll always have somebody who's on deep wheels, 55s or 60s, and they'll admit that they're putting in extra work just to keep the bike compliant. That's, again, just something I'm not interested in. Now, I've got to emphasize this because I know how the internet is. I am not anti-aero bike or anti-progress or anti-development or performance or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just very positive and into having a good cycling experience with equipment that is compliant, efficient, and works well. That's where Lewis Scott has it parked. It's as simple as that for me. So anyway, that's it, guys. I've doubled down and I've shared in a little bit more detail why I am putting a pause on Ultra Aero Bikes. And by the way, I was recently asked if I had to pick an aero bike, which would I pick? And I could not come up with an answer. They were laughing at me, but I just couldn't come up with an answer of one that I would want. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate you guys continue to support our channel by watching our videos. Please like the video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying what we're doing and you'd like to see us do more of it. And you're certainly welcome to share your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.